Good morning and welcome to another chat on seasonal marketing best practices with John of Bright Choice. Hi, John.
Good morning, Aquila.
All right, we are going to jump in today. We've talked about general seasonal marketing. We've talked about social media specifically. Today, we're really going to dive in and talk more about specifically thinking about influencer marketing. So, when we're talking about influencer marketing, when you first thought about, oh, okay, I think I want to do some, influencer, I just want to work with influencers for Bright Choice. What did that look like? What did you have like kind of as the vision in your mind?
So, I think there's different types of influencers, and the original idea behind it was, is it possible to localize it somewhat? Is it possible to find people that kind of look like our customers, which primarily a female demographic, primarily most of our customers are parents or they're empty nesters. Maybe they have family coming over. So that was kind of the first thing is like, is it possible to find people like that? And I think y'all were able to put together a pretty good list of influencers that kind of checked all of those boxes. And then I think from there, we were able to like realize, okay, like we can make this happen. I think they can produce some good content. So I think that's the first thing. I think just kind of getting out of the mentality of like, we don't need to work with a Kim Kardashian or something like that to
Right.
have an impact on our business. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is kind of about like finding the ones that are the right fit for you and your brand and your goals and all of those things. So walk us through like, if we send you a big list of 20 or 30, what were some of the things that you were really paying attention to feel good about, okay, yes, this is the influencer that's right for me.
Right. So there's like subcategories within subcategories of influencers. And I'll give you an example. There's like parody type pages, which, there's no personal brand or personal face to it. And then there's maybe like themed type influencer pages where maybe it's all about San Antonio food or San Antonio restaurants, things like that. We wanted to steer clear of those types of pages. We wanted to focus primarily on someone who was like face forward, felt very comfortable telling their own story, showing their life, talking about their own personal experiences. So that was kind of like our first filter,
Yeah.
assuming they're local and all of that.
Right. Right.
Can they tell their story? Does their audience feel like they probably know these individuals? Versus like, are they hidden behind the camera?
Right.
So we wanted to find those individuals. And then the second thing, as it relates like specifically to our business, is you can't work with us unless you own a home or you live in a home that you're renting. If you're in an apartment or, you have roommates and maybe it's not your home or something like that. Since we do holiday lights, it wouldn't be a good fit. So there's kind of like business specific needs as well. The other thing is, are they comfortable with holiday lights? Maybe they don't, maybe that's something they don't celebrate or they're not comfortable with, or if they have Halloween decor that's already out there. So like there's kind of these like sub things that we had to keep in mind that just turned into like filters. But overall, I think we went from a list of like 20 or something like that, 15 to 20, and then narrowed it down to like 5 or 6. And we ended up working with 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned too, you were looking for face forward, right? You wanted somebody who was going to actually be interacting with the camera. One of the big trends right now on Instagram, or at least on influencers in general, is thinking about, being able to have an account that's just totally faceless, and it's, totally faceless. You don't ever have to show your face, but you can sell products. Like, to the influencer or to the person thinking about starting an account, it sounds great. From you as a brand perspective, what was it about, wanting to make sure they're going to be showing their face, they're going to be, interacting and actually talking to their kind of personal experience?
Right. I think kind of the parody pages or the other types of pages, I think they definitely have value and they have their place. Like if I was a restaurant, I would definitely want to be with, like SA Foodie or these other food type channels where maybe they focus primarily on the restaurants and the food. I think that's a good fit. But I think for us, building a higher end professional brand, one of the most important things that we're trying to convey is professionalism, is trust, a very solid, good quality product. And I think those three things are best communicated from somebody, as if you're telling your friend who just did your holiday lights or something like that, versus, just showing photos of, if you just show photos or just clips, I feel like it doesn't really tell the whole story of who Bright Choice is, what differentiates us, and how we're trying to set ourselves apart.
Mhm.
So we wanted to work with influencers who based off of old, previous content they've posted, I felt like they had those capabilities and kind of that level of comfort to tell that story in their own way.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about results. Everybody always wants to know, influencers seem great, seem like they'd be awesome, but how do I track it? How do I know what they're doing? How do I know, if it's even working for me and my brand? What are some
Right.
of the ways that you guys have been able to pay attention, or do you feel like you've been able to really see, hey, okay, great, this is working, or oh, I don't know, it's great content, but who knows, kind of thing?
Yeah. So, we have kind of the funnel. So
Mhm.
every time the influencers would post, most of them we would start getting inbound messages, kind of just very top of funnel. They'll DM us, they'll send us messages. I didn't
Mhm.
keep track of those numbers, it was just too many.
Mhm.
Just with not just them specifically, but with everything we had going on. So really what we would track is like qualified leads, which is someone who would either call in to our office line, or they would fill out our form, and they would give us their information and pretty much say like that our minimum met their needs, which our
Mhm.
minimum is $800. So we're definitely not the cheapest. We're not like a handyman who'll come and put up your own lights or whatnot.
Mhm.
We're full service premium holiday lighting company, so we're not for everybody. So
Yep.
that filters out a lot of people. In terms of revenue, we've so far generated $8,500 in revenue with the of lifetime value of the five or six influencers that we posted with.
Mhm.
And one thing that was interesting is yesterday I got a lead from um, Rebecca, and then we got a lead from Delia. Those are
Mhm.
two influencers we worked with previously, and
Yeah.
both of those posted like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I just
Mm.
thought it was interesting. Like it almost felt like, I know it's a very small sample size, but it almost felt like maybe that content has a longer shelf life,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
people are remembering it, messaging us, or filling out our form. So I
Right.
don't think the revenue. I think there's still opportunities there. We have proposals that are open,
Mhm.
and then the other thing is, as a home service business, it's my responsibility to get as to make as many opportunities happen as I can. So
Yeah.
what I mean by that is, when we were in front of Delia's house doing
Mhm.
her install, we had our wrapped vehicles, we had our yard sign,
Yep.
and we got a lead from that while we're there. So even
Mhm.
though it's not directly from Delia, that was a $5,000 opportunity. We didn't
Yeah.
close it, but it was still a great opportunity because they saw us there working. Um, the design consult I did yesterday in the Dominion, that was from another influencer lead,
Mhm.
and they actually saw their post like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then they saw someone else share our post recently, and it kind of just, they remembered it. They saw us
Yeah.
twice now, and they called us out there. So that's a great opportunity in the Dominion. They have quite a bit of decor that they want done. I don't know if we'll
Mhm.
get it, but if we do, this number is going to jump up quite a bit. So
Yeah.
um, it's only November. I'm not even sure what today's date is.
22nd. Yep.
Yeah, November 22nd. So we still have a lot of time left to go.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so 8,500 so far in the books, and we'll see. We still have 3 weeks left.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I feel like too, you mentioned, that the long, shelf life of the postings and everything. The other thing that I think is great when you're working with a local influencer who fits your brand, who gets it, who wants to work with you because they want to support small businesses, is that you're really like converting a raving fan, that's going to continue to talk to their friends and family and everybody about you, because they get it. They understand, like, hey, we're getting a really nice service. We want to make the brand feel like it's been a good success. So, you would also hope that Rebecca's having conversations with her neighbors and Delia is having conversations with her neighbors. And sometimes if you just work with a regular customer, they might not be like shouting from the rooftops about you. But influencers, I think, are naturally very like, they're connected. They want to be, the person you go to find out about all the different recommendations, even in real life conversations on top of their content.
Right. And especially as like a local family owned business,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have, we're not all about the contracts. We're not all about like dotting our I's, crossing our T's. And a few of the influencers mentioned things around that, how we're very easy to work with. We didn't try to take control over the content they were, giving us. We had requirements like, hey, we're going to give you X number of dollars worth of holiday lighting in exchange for this many pieces and this type of content. So
Right.
there's boundaries there, and there's kind of like that contractual obligation on both of our ends.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the story and how they want to portray that and how they want to create their content, we left that up to them because they're the professionals. They know what they're doing. And two of them specifically made comments about that. Like, we were warm, we were welcoming, professional, but like we're not trying to be some big corporate company telling them what to do, giving them our brand guidelines and all that.
Yeah.
So I think as a local small business, we have the advantage because we can kind of take those risks, which I don't view as risk. I view them as opportunities, and give them full reign over that content. And then they can deliver their best product to us. And hopefully that sells our company the best versus I feel like if we were, a $1 billion company or something, you got to go through legal, you got to go through marketing, you got to go through all these approval steps.
Yeah.
So if you're a small business, let them do what they're good at, and then they'll just outperform.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get it. I think you've done a great job of like giving them the creative control while still, giving them almost like you're going bowling and you're giving them, some parameters.
Right.
There's a lot of in between where you're very able to just say, okay, yeah, what you, want to say and your experience is absolutely, up to you. And walk me through too. I think, a lot of people, we talked about this in our very first, session, that a lot of people think of influencers as like it's the Nordstrom sale, it's the, more retail e-com, products. Talk to me about what the thought process was for using influencers for more of a service-based business.
Yeah, I think it's just the very first reason, or one of the first reasons why we did it, is because when you look at the competitive landscape of our industry and other home service businesses in San Antonio, Texas, very, very few of them utilize influencers. So to me, as a business owner, I'm trying to find opportunities where it's not super crowded. So an example, Google ads and Facebook ads are extremely crowded for every home service business owner. And they're extremely crowded because it's super, super easy to get on there. They'll give you $500. When you open up your business, they'll just throw $500 and then you go on there, you run your ads. Well, you're competing against hundreds, maybe thousands of people in your industry within 10 miles. And because it's so competitive, it's very expensive. Whereas like what we're doing, I don't think any of these influencers have ever been asked, hey, do you want free, beautiful looking holiday lights this holiday season? Your husband doesn't have to get on the roof. You don't have to get on the roof. We're going to take care of it for you. I don't think they've ever been asked that. So for us, to me, that's just a competitive advantage. Us being kind of the first in what I believe is the first in our local area to use influencers. And I think it worked. I mean, I think if you look at how many views our content has and the level of engagement it has, as well as the leads we've generated, I mean, I think the numbers speak for themselves. I don't know how many views we have, but it's probably somewhere between 50 to 75,000 organic views on the influencer post. Home service businesses are boring. I network with a lot of them, so I see a lot of their content.
Mhm.
Most of their videos and their views, maybe they get 100 views, maybe they get 200 views. So for some of our posts to get over 10,000 views,
Mhm.
or thousands of views, it's just crazy to me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then when you look at our website analytics and you see like hundreds of clicks coming from organic social, I
Mhm.
think it's really impressive to me.
Yeah. 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 No, absolutely. Um, so what would you say to, to another service-based business owner? Maybe they're not a seasonal company. Maybe they're looking at how do I engage with influencers on a regular basis? What would be something you would recommend? If they're looking at maybe they're landscaping and spring is a busy time, or maybe they're, plumbing or air conditioning or heating,
Right.
any other business where maybe they could hire an influencer in the spring to talk about something, or in the summer or fall, winter, wherever. What would be some tips that you would recommend for them as they're kind of thinking about jumping into that world?
Well, this is going to be a plug for you, but I definitely recommend, if you're not in this space, or even if you are, and even if you're somewhat familiar, partner with somebody who can take care of all of the boring back end stuff that you don't need to be focused on. So,
Mhm.
like in our case, you took care of finding the initial list. I provided one influencer I wanted to work with, maybe one or two. I don't, probably just one or two. I don't remember. But you provided the other entire list. We chose from them. Y'all took care of all the communication back and forth. So if you have to imagine negotiating with like every single person, that's a lot of work. So y'all took care of all that. Plus, you had the contract where they signed it, agreeing to like the terms. So
Mhm.
everyone's protected.
Mhm.
And then y'all took care of gathering the content, scheduling the content, posting the content.
Mhm.
All we had to do was deliver a good product, make sure they were happy with what we were providing them, and just go out there and do the install like we normally would and take good care of them. That's
Mhm.
what we focused on, and that's what we do best. So that's the first thing, like hire somebody that can help with all the boring stuff, the stuff you don't want to do. The second thing, I think we were successful because we do holiday lighting and exterior cleaning. So we could have done like window cleaning, pressure washing, roof washing, holiday lights, whatever. I think focusing in, having 5 or 6 people talking about the same topic, I think is really helpful. So if you're a landscaper, I wouldn't go out there and talk about, you know, 5 or 6, 7 different things. Have the influencers all focus on one topic, whatever that might be. So if you're focusing on tree trimming, or if you're focusing on just like lawn care maintenance or something like that, or maybe you do some sort of weed control treatment or something, I would focus on that and maybe do a campaign around that topic. And then also it's easier for you to track because you're focused on that one service, that one solution. Everyone's talking about the same thing, and you can see if there's the uptick or not. So I would focus on that. One thing we didn't do right is we weren't I wasn't proactive enough, and we weren't fast enough to get these to work with to get the influencer campaign kicked off and launched and done. So it kind of delayed things a little bit, and it kind of pushed into our busy season. If I had to do it over again, I would be more like a month or a month and a half out from our busy season when we start it, complete the campaign, get the content going, and then when our busy season kicks off, we already have the content. Operationally, we're not worrying about it anymore, because it does take time to have a crew out there doing this work. So yeah, I would definitely plan ahead and be a little bit more proactive. So like if your
Mhm.
busy season's March or April, I would start your influencer campaign end of January, execute February, and then
Mhm.
have the content good to go for March and April.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely interesting having, like, our house be the first guinea pig, and having our holiday lights set up as people were not even thinking about their
Right.
Halloween costumes yet. So, it's like
Yeah.
your influencers that are prepping for the holiday sales in August, thinking about what people are gonna be shopping for and all of that. But, it like a lot of different marketing aspects, planning is key, prepping is key. Um, on our side, and I really appreciate the kind words for sure. It was absolutely a team effort from our side to make it happen. But the flip side of that is a lot of times as an agency, when you're working with a brand and you have relationships with these influencers, and one bad experience with one of our clients could ruin that relationship with that influencer, for life. If expectations aren't upheld, if the experience isn't good, if, they don't feel like they, feel comfortable sharing about it because it was such a poor, experience for them personally. So, it is a little bit of a level of trust for us to say, okay, here's the access to all these influencers. We're now trusting you to treat them really well, hold up your end of the deal. So I appreciate that you guys took that really seriously and, gave them that sort of not even VIP. I feel like y'all give that experience for all of your customers, but just took that to heart.
Yeah, and I think that applies to that applies to any home service business and any form of marketing you're doing. I think you can have the best marketing, you can have the best plan, but if you can't execute operationally, and if your team isn't in alignment with like your core values and how you want to operate and be seen, then you're just doing yourself a disservice. And I think you're just going to throw marketing dollars down the drain, if you're getting bad reviews or if you can't take care of your customers. So it definitely,
Mhm.
it starts, you have to have the beautiful brand and the great marketing campaign, but really you're going to lose it all if you don't have like a solid team in the field and you're delivering like a high level of service.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the last couple times we've talked to you, you've been, hanging in there, busy season. Things are, tough. How are you juggling, making sure to balance? This is like a question a lot of female entrepreneurs get, but how are you balancing life right now with, work and family and, influencers wanting your time and attention? How are you doing, John?
It's funny you asked that question because this week was one of the hardest weeks of my like career, I guess,
Mm, mhm,
My wife, my wife has a corporate job. She travels. So she was gone all week. And then Tuesday, or Monday, I had to pick up my son early from daycare. He's 3.
mhm,
So he's sick all day Tuesday. So then he's home with me. So now I'm not in the field helping. And
mhm.
I think Monday I woke up and I had 17 leads to follow up with. And then Tuesday, after working all day Monday, we still had like 11 more leads to follow up with because they just keep rolling in. And it's like,
Mhm,
I was telling this to someone else. You're like, oh, those are champagne problems. And
mhm,
yes, I agree they're champagne problems, but they're still extremely stressful
mhm,
trying to take care of everyone.
mhm.
Thankfully, I'm really lucky because I have an amazing partner, my wife, and an amazing business partner, Patrick. Um, so it's just a team effort all the way around.
Yeah.
It's a team effort here at home. She's been doing double duty just when I'm out working. She's just been helping out a ton. So when she travels, I help her, of course. And
Mhm.
then Patrick, I'm in a great mood today because I'm not working today. I'm the best man for my best friend's wedding. And today is
Oh
like the
my goodness.
rehearsal and setup, and then tomorrow's the wedding. So Patrick's on his own for the next 3 days.
Oh
And
my goodness.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
was like, good luck, buddy. I'll see you on Monday. So I'm
Excellent
taking a few
timing
days
for a
off.
for a best friend's wedding to
Yeah,
be right.
exactly. So no, it's good. We've been hanging in there. It was challenging because there's kind of two deadlines with this season. It's Thanksgiving Day. Customers want their lights up before Thanksgiving, and then the other deadline is like as soon as possible in December.
Yep.
And we were trying to service as many customers as we could before Thanksgiving, and it just
Mhm.
got to the point where we just had to say no. We just, I know it's a few weeks out, but we just can't. I'm sorry, we can't take care of you.
Right.
So we started moving customers to the first week of December, and I think that's been really helpful
Mhm.
for both of us to kind of just take some of that stress and that workload off. We
Mhm.
still have, I think, 12 or 13 installs before Thanksgiving we need to get done,
Mhm.
but we have a solid team of guys. Someone came in down from Houston to help us for a week, and we have 2 other guys that have more holiday lighting experience than I have, and probably more than Patrick has, helping us out. So it's
Yep.
been really good. And then another cool thing is I'm collaborating with another holiday lighting company here in town the Dominion project that I was talking about.
Mhm.
They have some specific needs that it's a little outside of our expertise. So, collaborating with them, they're coming in to help us out. So
Mm.
just leaning on as many people as I can, and they're
Yep.
helping us, which is, that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to. I mean, as a small business owner, there's not many business models that you can truly be a solopreneur. You have to like lean on other people, other team members, other, subcontractors. Like there's got to be a little bit of a village supporting you. So I'm glad that you have
Right.
that support for sure.
Thanks. No, thanks for checking in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, anything else, John? I know we're closing in on this series. It's been wonderful to really talk through like all of the seasonal marketing, subjects with you and thinking about that. You really have a much more sophisticated, I think, perspective than most, small business owners. So I think that you do a great job of having an understanding of marketing, both from here's what we're aiming for, here's what the goal is, but also from okay, realistically, what can we achieve?
Right.
So any other final words of advice or tips?
Uh, final thought. I was talking to Patrick yesterday. We landed a $4,000, so a $12,000 lifetime value, 4,000 a year for 3 years,
Mhm.
holiday lighting job from a random next door. Like someone asked for holiday lights, someone tagged us, random.
Yep.
And I told Patrick yesterday, I was like, man, we've done all this amazing marketing campaign. Leads are flowing in, but I still can't tell you what like the silver bullet is. I can't tell you
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
one thing that either makes it successful or not successful. I can tell you maybe our lowest performing, marketing channel, but
Mhm.
even then, it still hasn't fully played out yet. So I don't know. And
Mhm.
he was
Mhm.
just kind of like, that is the way it is type deal. Like, and he's a man of few words, and I think what he was trying to say is like, you have to do everything. You have to try as much as you can because you just don't know what's going to hit. And I think for a
Mhm.
home service business, especially someone who maybe doesn't have any marketing background or knowledge, you
Mhm.
can't place all your eggs in one basket. You
Right.
have to like try different things. You have to explore different marketing channels
Mhm.
at the same time and just kind of measure results as best you can. It's not going to be perfect
Yep.
because, like the example I keep going back to in the Dominion, she saw the influencer post, and my sister shared one of my posts, and she saw that. So like we're connected a few different ways, and
Yeah.
now we're back in the neighborhood, and it's just um, don't expect there to be like this magic bullet that like
Mhm.
solves all your business problems or whatnot.
Yeah.
um, you just got to keep trying because you don't really know where it's going to come from. You kind of just have to trust the process. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I've been thinking about it lately. I just
Yeah.
don't know where
Yep.
it's going to come from. And then also next year it's probably going to change, right? Like maybe the price for Google goes down next year. Maybe the price for this goes up or the price for that goes down.
Yeah.
Maybe like all the holiday lighting guys are like, oh, I'm going to do influencer marketing, and it's just flooded with influencer posts, and it just doesn't even
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll be flexible and whatnot, but yeah, just you got to have that marketing mix.
Yep.
See what
Yep.
works.
The only thing you can predict is that you can't really predict anything,
Yeah,
you've gotta just be nimble, be ready to pivot, and like you said, track as best as you can, and that way you learn for next year, but, to your point, it's gonna evolve, it's gonna change, so I think you guys will be ready for sure. You've definitely, taken the time to think through what is, making an impact and what's not, so we look forward to working with you guys hopefully again, and thank you so much for your time. I know this is tough to find a window to chat once a week, but I've really enjoyed it, and it's been great to learn from your experience.
no, I appreciate it. This is a lot of fun just talking to you about this stuff because to me this is like a brainstorming session kind of
Yeah,
just what are we
yeah.
gonna do next. It gives me time to think about it and really sit down and you know
Just slow down a little bit.
right
Yep,
exactly. So
yep,
no, this is awesome. Thank you.
yep. All right. Well, go make Cassie a cup of coffee or something. Sounds like she deserves it.
She does.
Yeah, we will see you very, very soon. Thank you again for your time. And if y'all are curious to learn more about Bright Choice, I'm going to pop that QR code right up there so you can absolutely scan it, find out more. There is just a few more weeks left to get your holiday lights up before it will officially be Christmas, but they do so much more than that. So if you've been inspired listening to John, if you like the way that he does business, I don't know who wouldn't, be excited to work with y'all. But if you've got other home projects around the house too that you're curious about learning more with Bright Choice, definitely scan that QR code and reach out. So